in this video, we're going to be talking some Super Eagles football. On today's roster, we got Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman, both players linked to the same club. We'll be talking about the chances of both players playing on the same team. And still on Victor Osimhen, we'll be talking about his parent club, Napoli, a new but old issue coming up stemming from the transfer that took the Super Eagles striker from France to Italy. Then we got Wilfred Ndidi, an injury update on the Super Eagles midfielder. We got a couple of clips from his head coach, Ruud van Nistelrooy, the Leicester City head coach, talking about Wilfred Ndidi's situation. Then we're going to be talking about the home-based Super Eagles. Super Eagles B, they have that matchup against Ghana coming up in a couple of days. We will be talking about that in this video. But first, please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're going to start from the bottom in this one. And first, we're going to talk about the Super Eagles or the home-based Super Eagles matchup against Ghana. That game will be played this Sunday, the 22nd of December, 5 p.m. Nigerian time will be the start of the game, and it will be hosted at the Accra Sports Stadium in Accra, Ghana. Now, when it comes to watching a game, not 100% sure where the game will be shown because no outlet has come out and said that they're going to show the game. But you can follow the Ghana Football Association Facebook page, and I'm pretty sure they'll have the information as to where to watch the game. Now, that being said, of course, the Super Eagles are handled by the two assistant coaches, the two main assistant coaches on the Super Eagles A team. And those guys are Fidelis Ilechukwu, who also coaches Enugu Rangers in the NPFL, and Daniel Ogumodede, who also coaches Remo Stars in the NPFL. Now, those two invited 18 players into the team or selected 18 players for the team. Of course, they have been camping for a couple of weeks now. Out of those 18 players, 2 were goalkeepers, 7 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 5 forwards. Now, you take a look at the list. Enrio Zoimena, Naijabiasfc goalkeeper. We just saw him in goal for Naijabi against Zamalek in the CAF Confederations Cup. Then you got Kayode Bankole, Remo Stars goalkeeper, and he's actually played for this team previously. He was part of the last qualification campaign, and if I'm not mistaken, he played in that first leg we had against Ghana. Then you move to the defenders, and first you got Ismail Sadiq of Remo Stars. Actually has a cap for the Super Eagles, played in that World Cup qualifier against South Africa in Uyo. Right back for Remo Stars. Great crossing the ball, had I think a double-digit assist season a couple terms ago. Then you got Waliu Ojetoye, Ikorodu City. Of course, Ikorodu City, a newly promoted side, causing issues in the NPFL. And Waliu Ojetoye plays as a right back for the club. Then you got Imobot of Naijabiasfc. He plays as a left back. Junior Duka of Remo Stars, captain of Remo Stars, if that hasn't changed by now. And he's a central defender for the club. Great with free kicks, by the way, free kick specialist of sorts. Then you got Victor Collins of Nasarawa United. Recently was called up for the Super Eagles. Those last 2 AFCON qualification matchups, he was in camp for those. Then you got Ifeanyi Onyebuchi of Rangers International, a central defender. And another central defender, Stephen Manyo of Rivers United, has some experience in the continent, played in the CAF Confederations Cup last season with Rivers United. So definitely bringing that into the team. You move to the midfielders, Jide Fatokun of Remo Stars, my bad. Jide Fatokun, a central midfielder. Then you got Rabi Ali of Kano Pillars, the man, the myth, the legend. Attacking midfielder, can also play some central midfielder. Who knows, can also play some defensive midfielder. Quality player, another free kick specialist, has been just banging them away this season in the NPFL. And he's looking like he is not aged in like a decade. And then you got Xavier Isaac of Rangers International, an attacking midfielder. And Musa Zayad of El Kanemi Warriors, a defensive midfielder. For the forwards, Anas Yusuf Nasarawa United striker, one of the leading goal scorers in the NPFL, might be the leading goal scorer in the NPFL. Ademola Abubakar of Plateau United, a winger. Sikuru Alimi of Remo Stars, a striker. Emmanuel Ogbole of Kwara United, I believe that's a striker. Then you got Papa Daniel Mustafa of Naija Tornadoes. And I think he's a midfielder. I'm not too sure about the forwards label. I think he's a midfielder right here. But these are the players. I believe there's some quality players. Of course, you can't pick every single great player in the NPFL. Somebody has to be left off. For me, I would have liked Kennedy Bokeh to be on this list right here, on this team right here. But that didn't happen, even though he has been quality in every single competition he's been in. But it is what it is. These players are capable to do the job. I would have liked to see a little bit more speed in the side when it comes to the wingers and sorts. But it is what it is. All we hope is that the job gets done and we qualify into the upcoming CHAN, because the winner of this double-headed affair will qualify to the CHAN that will be coming up next year. So big matchup right here. And moving on, and we're going to talk about Super Eagles midfielder Wilfred Ndidi. We're talking about the A team now, and Ndidi plays for Leicester City in the EPL. And a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little less than a couple of weeks ago, he picked up an injury, and that was in an EPL matchup against Brighton. He went down early in the second half and did not go back into the match. So he has been out ever since that. His team has played one match in the meantime. That was against Newcastle. They lost that by 4-0. They'll be playing their next game on Sunday against Wolverhampton. And according to his head coach, Wilfred Ndidi will not return for that match. So like I said in the beginning, we got 2 clips to check out. The first clip is going to be Wilfred Ndidi's head coach, Ruud van Nistelrooy, of course, football legend Ruud van Nistelrooy. And he's talking about what the injury is. He's basically putting a name on it, which is a hamstring injury. Then the next clip is the coach talking about how close Wilfred Ndidi is to his return.
Starting off with some team news, we saw Wilfred go off against Brighton. How's his hamstring injury?
Correct, he has an hamstring injury, so he's not available for tomorrow's game. Of course, we're looking at the progress, how we will react to the injury, but it looks like it will be at least a couple of weeks, yeah. And Wilfred is in his rehab. He's not on the pitch, so he's not available for selection.
So yeah, as you heard right there, Wilfred Ndidi still has some time to go in his rehab. Definitely will be missing his team's next matchup. And it's a tough one for Wilfred Ndidi because he looked real good in the new manager's first match. Looked like the old Wilfred Ndidi. Then all of a sudden you get this injury going down, and it takes a lot of momentum out of the situation. But definitely wishing Wilfred Ndidi a quick recovery, and we'll keep you guys updated on this situation, so stay close to the channel. Now moving on, we're going to talk about this situation that involves Victor Osimhen's parent club, Napoli. Of course, Victor Osimhen made the move from Lille in the French top flight over to Napoli in the Serie A. That was in the summer of 2020. Back then, the move was reported to be worth 70 million euros or around 70 million euros. And the breakdown was Lille was supposed to get 50 million in cash, then 20 million in players. 4 players were going to go from Napoli to Lille, and those 4 players were apparently worth 20 million euros. Now, at the end of the 2020-2021 season, all 4 of those players were let go by Lille. And I'm not 100% sure about this timeline, but I do know that around that period all the way till now, there's been talk about investigations going on both in France and Italy about that deal right there. Now, on the Napoli side, I think they were cleared off the situation. I might be wrong, but I think they were cleared off the situation. But then a couple of days ago, you see this report right here on your screen, and it says Osimhen case, Tutu Sport. Lille president reveals a disturbing detail. Napoli made 18% of its turnover with those capital gains. Juve condemned with only 5%. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys that I know exactly what these people are talking about here. Some numbers being thrown around. I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can. So basically, Lille has a new president. His name is Olivier Lelang. And when he went in office, he was like the math wasn't mathing, especially on the Victor Osimhen deal. He's like the numbers did not look right. Of course, 70 million euros was the reported price, and you come in and you see that those numbers don't match up. And what he's saying is that Lille only really gained 7 million out of that 50 million. Because they had to pay intermediaries, they had to pay commissions to people and things like that. So that was the reason why the money kind of reduced. Don't forget, they also had that clause with Charleroi, the sell-on clause, that whatever they sold, a percentage of the money will also go to Charleroi. So that was also on the table right there. But on the Napoli side, they're saying they brought in a huge capital gain from the players that they sold to Lille, or that they gave to Lille in replacement of 20 million euros. They're saying they had a huge capital gain from that situation. And like the headline says, you go back to the headline right here, it says 18%, Napoli made 18% of its turnovers with those capital gains. Juve condemned with only 5%. And they're talking about the last time Juve had points taken away from them. And they're saying this situation is basically 3 times worse. Now, honestly, I feel like there might be a whole bunch of this story that I've missed out on. And I advise anybody who wants to know more to go find more about the story. Maybe even come back and tell us more that you have found. Because I'm just not understanding how Napoli is even talked about here. How are they at fault? Because I'm thinking they did what they had to do. Every club will want to sell players for way more than they bought them for. I mean, this is like taking Ajax to court for selling Anthony to Manchester United. Now, it would be different if Napoli did not send the 4 players. Now, you got a story right there. If they said they were going to send 4 players that were worth 20 million euros and they just never sent those players, that would have been a situation. But you're talking about players that went over, stayed for a season. So I don't really too much understand how they could be in trouble. But I'm not the one that makes the laws. So I mean, it could be something else. It could be something else that I'm not looking at. But that right there takes us to the last part of the show. I'm going to be talking about Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. Of course, back-to-back CAF Player of the Year award winners right there. And both players have been linked to the same club in the same week. And I'm going to be talking about the prospect of them playing at the same team next season, which could be a possibility. It could have happened this offseason if we're keeping it real, because this offseason the same club came for both players. That club in question is PSG, by the way. PSG came for both players in the offseason. Victor Osimhen at the early part of the offseason. It kind of dwindled out with PSG and Napoli. It seemed like they couldn't come to a conclusion. Then PSG kind of got out that race. Then with Ademola Lookman, it was kind of closer to the end of the transfer window. It kind of trickled into the start of the season in the Serie A. I believe he missed 1 match because of the situation. The last match I was watching, the commentator was talking about it. They said he stopped training and stuff like that, trying to make that move happen to PSG. So it was definitely a concrete type situation right there. And this offseason, Ademola Lookman has 1 year on his contract, so I'm pretty sure Atalanta would be more keen to allow him make a move. You got to think about it. This offseason, Atalanta just won the Europa. They're going in the Champions League. You want your best player present for that, which is looking like a great decision that he stayed, by the way, on top of the league table and looking good in the Champions League also. But I'm feeling like Atalanta would be more willing to agree to a deal this offseason. Then you look at Victor Osimhen's situation. We just talked about Napoli and the issues they're going with. Now imagine it doesn't go right for Napoli and they're given a deduction, maybe this season or the next. I think that would make them even more eager. But even outside of that, I feel like with his release clause being reduced from what it was at the offseason to now, it was 130 million euros and it was dropped to 75 million euros. I feel like the line at the door for Victor Osimhen is going to be pretty long this offseason. No matter what happens, you look at his performances in Turkey, you look at him in the Europa League, he's just doing his thing, looking like the best striker in the world. Even though he's playing in Turkey, you still hear people saying he's the best striker in the world. So I feel like this offseason he's going to have his pick of where to go. But of course we're talking about Osimhen pairing up with Ademola Lookman at PSG. And I feel like it would be a great thing. I think it would be real good for Nigerian football having two of our biggest stars in the same team. Now that would be epic right there. And of course they've proven that they can play together on the Super Eagles, so I don't see that being a problem. And when you talk about two superstars that you would always want on your team, this is what you're getting with Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen. They're always going to work hard. They lead by example. Victor Osimhen a little bit more vocal, but take nothing away from either of them when it comes to their leadership on the pitch. It's clear to see that the Atalanta players are following Ademola Lookman, just like it's clear to see that the Galatasaray players are following Victor Osimhen. So you're not just talking about getting two of the best players in the world, you're also getting two high character guys, two leaders, great role models, all that good stuff you get when you pick up Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen. Not saying that this is a clear possibility, but I'm just saying if it does happen, it would be great to see. And I hope it happens, to be honest. Victor Osimhen playing with Ademola Lookman. But let me know your thoughts, put it in the comment section. And also please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.